Hey everybody, this is episode 65 of the Alfie Whattam Technology Podcast. As always, we are sponsored by welovealpha.com. If you're a software developer and you're open to new opportunities, or if you're an engineering manager or a recruiter or a CTO and you're looking to grow your team, then welovealpha.com is the place to go for UK software developers. Today, I'm joined by Jay on the podcast. Jay is in avatar form today for a special reason. This is very much a VR-y, crypto-y, web-free NFT episode, given Jay's background. So he thought he'd join us from what's going to be the metaverse, I imagine, in the future. Jay, could you just give us a little bit of an intro, mate? Tell us about who you are, what your business does, and that sort of thing.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me on, Alfie. So I'm Jay. I'm the co-founder of the Ozone Metaverse Engine. And we're really a platform to enable internet scale metaverse. So we built a next generation graphics technology that enables real-time 3D graphics to power the internet scale metaverse.
Cool. Okay, good stuff, mate. Well, pleasure having you on the show, and I wish we'd have more avatars on the show. I should get an avatar for myself for the next episode. I should have done it for this one, man. But that's cool. Well, look, let's delve into the news. It'd be good to get your opinions on what's happening in the world of tech. So to begin with, Meta is back in the headlines. So the latest Oculus Quest 2 update hints at Project Cambria being close to launch. I've been following this one for ages, and I'm very, very excited when it comes to reality. So the Oculus Quest 2's latest update includes references to features it doesn't have, indicating that Meta's Project Cambria headset could be nearer than we realize. Right now, those of you who signed up to the public test channel can download an in-progress version on the V43 update in exchange for some features potentially being a little buggier than Meta would like for a full release. You can now try out the settings, the options, test it out before the users get it. So obviously quite a big news in kind of the VR metaverse world, Cambria. What are your thoughts, Jay, on kind of the whole Cambria project, and I suppose the evolution of where VR's getting to?
Yeah, well, I think the short version, it's about time, right? It's about time we get some better hardware. Hardware has been a huge blocker to better experiences as well as adoption. What I'm picking up from the headlines is there's eye tracking technology, which is fine. How big of a game changer is that going to be? We're not quite sure. What we have to remember is it's very early days for virtual reality headsets. So it's nice to have finally a second version, which would be then a third iteration, right? Because the Oculus Quest 1, there's a 2, and this would be basically the 3, right? The next version.
It's kind of, I think it's separate to the Oculus Quest. It's because they're still going to sell the Quest 2, I believe. I think this is meant to be a more expensive alternative. I think it might even be up to $1,000. I know Apple's is going to be a similar price point, but so I think it's meant to be a separate category, I believe, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Is it doing AR as well? Is it see-through? I don't think it's see-through.
It's got a form of AR in that you can see the world through color, whereas I know in black and white is just with the Oculus 2. When it's passed through, I think that's designed more for kind of sensory awareness, making sure you're not bumping into walls. But I think there are some AR elements involved, but it is primarily a VR headset still.
It's primarily a VR,
Yeah.
So look, it sounds to me like this is a similar move as what you've heard of the HTC Vive, right?
Of course, yeah.
So HTC Vive rolled out "quote unquote" a pro version a few years ago, which was the enterprise grade type headset. So it sounds like that's kind of the direction. Alfie, we are at Ozone Metaverse as a platform that's always trying to democratize access and make the stuff mainstream, right? Everything we built is web-based, browser-based, so it's as easy to access on any device, mobile, desktop, as well as VR. We always think about it from the user standpoint, right? Anything in our industry that comes out, we always filter it through the lens of, hey, how does that help the users? How does that drive adoption? How does it make it basically cheaper, better, or faster to acquire? Yeah. In this particular case, like most of Facebook's innovations, I'm not too impressed, if I may say.
Okay, you think there are
I mean,
incremental changes rather than something like
yeah,
revolutionary?
exactly, exactly. I mean, given it's one of the most valuable companies in the world that has virtually access to limitless resources,
Sure.
and we have to wait like 3, 4 years, right? Basically 4 years since Quest 2 or something to
Yeah.
get this new one. And what's the big deal? Well, it's 4 times the price. You get eye tracking. And what else, right? Oh, you see through with color. You see your environment around you with color.
Yeah. What do you
Yeah.
think, Jay, would be like the biggest innovations in the metaverse? Because I've tried everything, right? I've done the 360 treadmill. I've done I've tried the Tesla suit. I've tried the gloves. I've went into a like a lab a couple of weeks ago and beta tested some pretty like awesome gloves that they work incredible. You've got loads of cool things happening in your space. What do you think are like kind of like the biggest innovations and cool things to focus on right now?
Yeah, the holy grail, right? What is the holy grail for our industry? It's the HMD that will replace the phone.
Okay.
So what really we need as a species, really beyond just as an industry, is the head-mounted display, HMD, for listeners who are not familiar, head-mounted display, which all these things that go on the head, that will basically be able to do everything our phone does, plus VR and AR all
Yeah.
in one. Yeah. So that's essentially what we need. And when that happens, what's gonna then subsequently happen is people will start to replace their phone with their HMD,
Yeah.
right? And then over a few iterations or releases, just like every new hardware, it's probably gonna start pretty expensive. But then as the next generation comes, the previous one goes down as a secondary market. And that's how over a few years, everybody around the world today has cell phones. You go to Africa, you go to Asia, you go to the most remote of villages on the planet today. People have one and sometimes two cell phones.
Absolutely.
How did they get that? Well, because some of them they're using phones we used to use in the developed world. We used to use those phones 4 or 5 years ago, right? So that's basically what needs to happen when it comes to the hardware.
Okay.
Looking at what Apple is announcing for 2023 would be kind of the beginning stages of that.
That will be cool. That will be very cool. I know it will be expensive. It's Apple. But if Apple releases something, they release something. They usually do, they don't release a product that's half baked. So when they get into the space, I think it will be interesting.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that you may know, Alfie, you picked up on through the grapevine, right? This new device that Apple is introducing will be kind of like the watch. You need the phone to run it, right? So I think that's a good step forward. Have you tried the Magic Leap before?
The Magic Leap? No, I've tried Microsoft's HoloLens.
HoloLens.
Yeah.
Right. There you go. So these
similar,
are
right?
kind of top of the line AR headsets, right?
Yeah.
So the problem with those is the field of view. So that's another there's a lot of technical issues to overcome. One of them is the field of view where you don't see through a small square.
Yeah.
Right. For those of our audience who never tried it, if you guys remember our grandparents way back in the days when they used to have those view glasses, right?
Yeah.
And they have the little square, right, for like near vision in the glasses. So that's what those AR headsets look like right now. So that's an issue. And then the battery is an issue. And then what's called occlusion, right? How do you go from VR to AR in a smooth way?
Yeah, it's clunky right now on the Quest.
It's pretty clunky. So look, this Cambria, to just wrap up this topic on Facebook and Cambria, we'll wait for it to come out. We'll see what it does, but I don't think that will really change the industry.
Okay, cool.
Something else.
Cool. Well, the next thing, I don't think the next topic is a solution to that, but it's interesting nonetheless. So sticking on the topic of Meta. So Mark Zuckerberg's custom Little League baseball card is getting turned into an NFT, believe it or not. So Instagram, they're going full NFT mode. You got cute little Zuck there back in his early days. So other than turning up the heat a little bit on Meta employees who shouldn't be there, that's referring to the fact that they're increasing the standards, I suppose, at Meta to whistle out the employees who Mark thinks shouldn't be there. But also he's highlighting the Instagram expanded NFT support. So he took the opportunity of announcing this with a baseball card to tell everybody about his 1992 Little League card, which is going on sale soon, with an NFT included as part of the deal. Pretty interesting. I mean, not quite the story that I usually share on the show, but I thought it was pretty interesting. But what are your thoughts on, I suppose, just NFTs as a whole, and you know, what insights can you give us into that sort of landscape, Jay?
100%. So NFTs will be instrumental in digital asset ownership management in the future, right? They have begun, but this is only the tip of the iceberg. We see, by the way, this is interesting because Instagram is going to be using Flow blockchain as their blockchain, and we are natively, Ozone has already full integration with Flow blockchain.
Awesome, man. You're beating Instagram to it.
Yes, our integration is already done on that. One question we are trying to figure out is, okay, what does it mean? Instagram offering NFT support. Is it going to be like Twitter, where you can use it as a profile image? Is it going to be that, you know, as you are posting images on Instagram, now you have a way to somehow programmatically put them up for sale, right? As an NFT? Maybe. If so, then what's the value, right? So what? Are we just because that's what you do on OpenSea right now and some other NFT marketplaces, right? You go in, you have an account, you upload an image, you mint it, and voila. So what is the value proposition with Instagram? Looking at the article, it's saying, hey, we thought he was minting it himself, but it's not the case. You know, it's a card. So he's taking a baseball card of his, put up for sale as an actual collectible, in addition to the digital blockchain receipt.
Well, I imagine they'll do it via Instagram, right? I mean, they're too big to start putting stuff on OpenSea. I mean, that wouldn't they would need to either build a competitor or even try to acquire them or acquire somebody smaller and that sort of thing. I mean, I put a bunch of NFTs up on OpenSea before, and it's interesting what's happened over the past, I don't know, a year with the whole just crypto market in general and the effect of NFTs on top of that. You know, it's a pretty volatile you know, time to be in that space at the moment. Do you think it's now a good time for people to start getting involved in NFTs and crypto, or do you think you know, what are your thoughts on kind of how that market is operating at the moment? Because it seems to be pretty volatile, you know, right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question, right? I feel like as far as adopting new technologies, it's never too late or there's never a bad time, right? I would consider this question just like, you know, when the 99 dot bust happened, right? The 9 dot bust. Imagine back then you asked the question, is this a good time to get involved in the internet? So let's use that as a parallel and be like, okay, well, Amazon started back then. So I think the answer would be a resounding hell yes, right? Now, how you do that is where I think folks are struggling because, I mean, for the developer audience listening in, there's two modes of being a developer. Either you are building for a company in which you are there to like do whatever the company is needing or asking you to do, or you're actually doing a startup of your own in which you are more into the leadership innovation mind. I think this is where we as Ozone Metaverse try to really push the envelope to say, well, we have this new toolkit, right? These new technologies, NFTs, blockchain. These are just new, if you will, weapons, right, in the digital cyberspace. So how do you use them, right? You have an arrow. What do you do with it? Are you gonna hunt for goose? Are you gonna hunt for a bird? You know what I mean? Are you gonna get up on a tree and try to ambush somebody? So I think there's a lot of opportunities still ahead on how to get involved. There's a big shake-off happening. A lot of folks who were in what we consider as innovators for the wrong reasons
Okay.
are basically going away, right? People who are coming in, okay, if your goal is to come in to just make money, that's the wrong reason, then don't get involved, right? Or wait for the next like boom or the next upside to come in. But if you're an innovator, if you're building, if you are trying to build infrastructure like we are, this is a great time to get involved. One thing also to notice here, Alfie, there's a lot of consolidation happening, right? A lot of consolidation is happening. A lot of projects are shutting their doors, shutting the lights off, laying off folks. So what's happening is there's a lot of talent now that was super excited, that was working on certain projects. Those projects are gone. So now all this talent is laying around. So also for entrepreneurs, this is a really good time to step in and source some good talent and start building. In our case, we focus on the graphics technology and provide the infrastructure for metaverse deployment. The metaverse space has also taken a hit with this market. This is a great time to come on Ozone and start building with us, right? Because when you build with us now, there is an opportunity to basically secure your infrastructure, right? So when the good times come back, if you will, or when you are ready to go, you'll already have it done, right? If I'm making sense.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, man. When it comes to NFTs in general, for me, the whole crypto punk thing was really just like a gimmick in many ways. I think the real value is going to be in every receipt being sold as an NFT, every concert ticket being an NFT, you buy a film and you get an NFT which gives you a pass to watch it. Are there any examples like that in terms of practical use cases which you think are going to have like a big impact on kind of the next couple of years ahead?
Yeah, and we are working on some of this stuff. I cannot really make announcements officially here, but obviously media engagement is going to be key, right? So we're talking about next generation fandom experiences. As a fan, let's say you're a fan of a great IP, whichever IP is, it can be music, movie, it can be sports.
Okay.
How have we engaged with that IP thus far?
Yeah.
So you make a list. And you're like, well, now there's a whole new way of engaging with that IP, right? You're in the UK, right? So if you're like a Manchester United fan, for instance, then, you've had very limited ways of doing that so far. Now with NFTs, we can unlock a whole new generation of engagement.
Yeah.
IP. Now, what's interesting though, and I want to highlight this is, and we find this very interesting because we are 3D first. We are metaverse native platform, right? Ozone Metaverse, everything we do is interactive 3D. So when we think in interactive 3D, the realm of opportunities for creating this new engagement and utility is a whole nother level. We talk to some NFT projects, they're only thinking in 2D images. They're only thinking on PNGs on OpenSea mindset,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Or here we're gonna be like, okay, PNGs on Instagram. It's like, okay, big deal, right? So then what? So now I feel like this is all gonna come together when just like HMDs, right? Like the hardware.
Yeah.
But guess what? When everybody is thinking in metaverse 3D first by default, that's when we usher the next generation of human computer interface.
Yeah, that's the real metaverse for me, having it but on some online massive open world where you're just walking around on a 2D screen. That's not the metaverse yet. You need to be immersed into it.
Immersed in there. And that's the hardware that will kick it. What we're doing is we're building the software infrastructure for
Sure. Yeah.
And we adapt with all hardware. So whenever the hardware is there and people have access to it, right, and get in, guess what? The worlds are already built. The applications are already built. The experience are already built. And one more thing I want to highlight here, Alfie, because you said when you are in this environment, right?
Yeah.
I would say when we all are is the key. So this is one thing we realize, right? If a few of us are using the stuff, that's okay. But I feel we're really going to hit up that critical mass that's really going to change all of humanity at once.
Yeah, that's the big push, right? That's when it all changes. On kind of the topic of closing off Web3, I suppose. the world of crypto is kind of, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, pretty volatile. And as an example of that, the Solana ecosystem was hit by a big hack, 8,000 wallets the other day, affecting those on iOS and Android. So hackers targeted the Solana ecosystem, draining crypto funds from thousands of hot wallets connected to the internet. Such attacks are common among blockchain platforms, but the news is still significant given the phrase Solana has attracted as one of the faster and cheaper ecosystems for trading digital assets. I just had people on the other week who were talking about Solana and the impact it could have. But it seems the hackers have been able to steal their own cryptocurrency and some compatible with the Solana blockchain. Even like stable coins. The attack is still ongoing. The value of the assets stolen is not clear, but independent analysts say that it could be worth as much as $8 million US dollars. So obviously quite, loads of good things happening in this world, but also a lot of, risky stuff happening. Actual bank accounts get hacked as well. So it's not as if this is a crypto exclusive thing. But what are your thoughts on kind of all that? That this is, I seem to get a story every other week about someone, some big blockchain being hacked. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, it's become common news, right? Hackers are there doing the bad work. Bad actors are always going to be there. Ever since the space has begun, there used to be hacks of exchanges, and we hear a lot of scams and people their Bored Apes being stolen,
sure,
their assets being drained, and so on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, human nature, there's always some bad actors somewhere doing some bad stuff. My mindset is that good shall prevail, basically, right? If enough of us are just doing the best we can to be consciously good actors, nothing can stop us, right?
Yeah.
Moving forward, no market crash, and this is kind of a message wide and open to all the Web3 community. And by the way, a lot of folks don't know about us, right? Ozoon Metaverse is kind of a new project that just came out of the woodworks. And the reason why is we've been building our own graphics technology for the last few years, which for the developers out there, real-time 3D graphics computing is
pretty hard.
Stiff. Yeah, so our mission is to provide an alternative to Unreal and Unity and a real cloud, web-based cloud that supports any chain, any developer can come in, any citizen of the world can come in, get as small of a world or a scene, a virtual space going as they want or need, and program as complex of games. Like I feel like over the next few years, you'll be able to come onto the Ozoon cloud and build a AAA game fully with any blockchain, fully integrated, and deploy on the web, right? So making it very accessible. So when you're done building, you don't have to then go to an app store, try to get your stuff there, then ask users to download like a 10 gigabyte file that has to keep getting updated on the client side.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I just want to I think it's almost like rallying the troops right now, right? I really wish the spirit was a little bit more shared, because we see also a lot of fractalization already happening in the Web3 space. We have Bitcoin maximalists and folks who only will interact with a certain chain. So I feel like, when we see like a certain ecosystem being hit, here's what's going to happen right now. You have a bunch of people who, let's say, that they don't like Solana for any reason. They're like, oh yeah, look, here's what happened, Oh, so they use that event to actually talk down on it. I would say no. I would invite everybody to actually appreciate the struggles of all the ecosystems, and we have to learn from it, right? Those that survive and thrive will be there for us to build as we go. Those who don't and who fail should be learning experiences for the rest, right? Who keeps driving forward. So that's my mindset. I think it's just common news, as you said. There'll be more coming to be expected. Outages, slowness, forks that go bad. We're expecting the Ethereum fork to come up soon, right? Ethereum 2.0 is expected to come soon.
Very soon, I believe. It's not far away at all. Yeah,
I mean, they've been talking about it for 2 years now, right? It's coming. So we hope that it will prop up the market again.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the intelligence we're receiving from our like finance partners, the expectation is that with that release, it will be a good time for the market to kind of rally back up and get out of this crash mode. But look, regardless of what happens, you know, Alfie, I think of this new technology, I think the internet is a really good analogy, right? There's always naysayers. There's always things that go wrong. But you know, when a new technology happens that will empower humanity, humanity will not give up on it, right? Like when the car appeared, so many people were saying we don't need cars.
Yeah, stick to the horse and cart. You know, I'm
Stick
a
to the horse and cart, right?
horse and box man. Yeah, but no,
And
no, no.
you know what's really interesting, and humanity operates in an interesting way, right? You know what's funny? The first cars were actually electric cars, the very first cars,
Okay.
and it took all these generations to come back and say, oh, we have to go back to electric cars.
Sure.
So
yeah.
as inefficient and as faulty with some of the security breaches and viruses and things that are there, and the dark web and all the negative stuff, right, that's out there, like humanity has been very good to nurture the positive and ultimately deliver value at scale. That's what we're here to do. So hackers, good luck, keep on hacking. We are also hacking for the positive, and you know, the fight will be settled on the back end servers. So
That's cool, man. I thought that's a really thoughtful answer. I like that. Thank you for that. Cool. Well, look, Jay, it's been awesome having you on the podcast. I'd recommend people go and check out your metaverse. It's really cool to see people doing something interesting in this space, and not just using it as a marketing gimmick, which a lot of companies seem to do. So yeah, thanks for coming on. Thank you to everybody for watching. Make sure you're subscribed on Spotify for all the latest episodes, and have a lovely day. Thank you all for your time.
thank you, Alfie. Thank you all. Cheers, cheers, cheers.